every Genshin character's real-world crimes. Quick explanation for how this shall go. If a character has committed an obvious crime in Tevat, we'll simply apply that crime to if it was the real world. However, if they haven't committed an obvious crime, we just make up a crime that they might commit if they were in the real world. So yeah, and quick disclaimer, I love all the characters, so don't take it too seriously. With that said, please enjoy the video. Due to him being homeless, tax evasion. Involuntarily, but still, the same either way. Identity theft for himself. This one is really trippy to think about. Wait. Driving without a license. Cars and wind gliders aren't the same. And Amber's a good person, so she would probably learn this, potentially the hard way. Trespassing. Maybe it's her first time in a new city, and she accidentally wanders a little too much and ends up on private property with a Rottweiler chasing her down the street. Maybe shoplifting? She seems like the type to accidentally leave the store with a chocolate bar in her pocket, then instantly goes to church to repent for her sins. There's definitely a lot for Beto, so we'll just say smuggling her son from another country like a true Chad mom. Also pirating, not the internet kind, the pirate kind. Did you see what I did there? Accidental first-degree murder, accidental theft, accidental genocide. He's a good kid. Harassment of evil spirits in the real world, I guess? Chungyun's too much of a good karma boy that if he ever disturbed the peace, I don't think he'd live it down. But with that in mind, maybe accidental disruption of the peace? First-degree murder, and probably injuring an officer who got in the way of his justice. Dilu kind of strikes me as a government conspiracy theorist in the real world. Unintentional first-degree murder related to poisoning. I know she always somehow makes the best drinks because video game comedy. But in the real world, nah. All it takes is one bad day for Diona to put the Tide Pods in somebody's drink. Now I can see that so well. Disrupting the peace. Whether it's intentional or not, I kind of feel bad for whoever Amy's neighbor happens to be. Accidental tax evasion. She seems like the type who is so busy working like 70 hours a week that she forgets to do her own taxes. Always do your taxes, guys. This program is sponsored by Le Gouvernement. Harassment of civilians. And if business isn't going well, then potential first-degree murder. Arson and mischief of property. It is a guardian's duty to take responsibility for their child's crimes. No, I feel bad for Jean. Identity theft. Kaya. More like Fatui Harbinger number 10, the spy. Sorry, something maybe like bribery? Yeah, honorable job during the day, potential under-the-table job during the night. I could see that, yeah. I can't imagine Cushing doing much bad, so we'll say speeding on her way to work to fight for world peace. Yeah, gotta love the purple cat. Use of weapons of mass destruction, potential second-degree murder, genocide, but she's a child, so we're fine. Torture, although some may actually see this as an absolute win. Her sadistic nature, well, let's just say if someone's acting up, maybe insulting Jean a little bit, this isn't too far out there. Also tax evasion, involuntarily as well, due to being homeless. And I'm sure you can add like 30 other minor crimes to both travelers. Bankruptcy fraud and embezzlement. She'd probably use the embezzled funds she got to buy more equipment, resulting in further bankruptcy. And then she'd commit massive tax fraud. Yeah, I feel like she'd commit some under-the-table crimes for the greater good, but we'll just say second-degree murder to silence some corrupt politicians. Actually, technically it's first-degree murder because of intent, but she'd never get caught, so it's all good. Accidental assault. I feel like she would try to defend someone who's being bullied and accidentally break the attacker's arms, legs, maybe neck. Dead people can't technically be charged with anything. But if she committed a crime, maybe second-degree murder as well? If she wasn't working with Baiju, I could kind of see her mixing up some prescriptions and potentially killing someone. Yeah. Aggravated assault. If someone messes with the fam, they get the hand. Drug cultivation. The real world doesn't have alchemy benches. So I could see Sucrose hand growing her own, we'll say sweet flowers. Let's go with that. First degree murder of worthy opponents. Also assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault, resisting arrest. We could keep going, but we'll stop there because he's a wholesome big brother. Public intoxication and disrupting the peace. He'd probably resist arrest as well because there's no sake in prison. I legit could not think of one outside of potential accidental food poisoning. So we'll say riding a sleigh on the highway with 2 bells on your horse's harnesses. That is apparently a crime. Just replace the horses with guoba, you're fine. Aggravated assault, when someone tries to pick on Lumine. Also mischief to property. I can imagine him having PTSD whenever he sees machinery. He just gets those Ruin Guard flashbacks. Contempt of court. For some reason, I can hear him screaming, "Objection!" and basically going against the judge in the courtroom. Loitering and potential piracy. So if you're singing your favorite band songs in public, that is technically pirating, apparently. Unless she decides to sing her own songs, in which case we'll just say loitering. But still, I would show up to my girl's performance without a doubt. Tax evasion, faking your own death is not cool, unless you're a Giga Chad, like Zhang Dong. First degree murder of bad people, which is still murder, even though she's pretty hot. Also potential public intoxication. Although she wouldn't get drunk, she seems like the type where after a long day of like killing people, she just sits down on a park bench, pops open the wine bottle. Yeah, I see that. Domestic assault on her family members for giving the Lawrence clan a bad name. Well, wait, then again, her attacking them would just kind of prove their point. Okay, scratch that. Maybe something like speeding on the highway because she's stressed because of her family. She is the queen of the law, who is probably defending like half of these characters in court. Actually, she's probably witnessed Jaylon commit a couple of crimes from time to time. So I guess abetting a crime, illegal entry into a foreign country, loitering, and like all Chads, tax evasion. That was a joke. Pay your taxes, guys. Concealing an escaped prisoner, also resisting arrest, and maybe like accidental arson and property damage. I could see her like accidentally setting off a firework and it going through someone's window. Yes. Burglary. She'd probably also get paid under the table, which would be unreported employment technically, but still, I doubt she'd ever get caught, so she's fine. Genocide. All the deaths in the war are indirectly kind of caused by her. But still, that's water under the bridge. She's a new woman who likes Dongo right now, which is really cute, right? Also, parental neglect, kind of. But Skara is a puppet, so I guess it doesn't technically count. But I'm still leaving it there. She is the designated character I always think of when I hear the phrase, "Stop resisting!" But with that aside, maybe aggravated assault on Ito in particular? Also, the whole killing in the war is apparently not a crime, which is really interesting. Thanks, Google. That kind of makes sense. She committed war crimes, except no, she didn't. If you want to have a nice wholesome debate about it in the comments, we could do so afterwards. But that aside, did you know offending a place with bad smell is a crime? And I don't really like the smell of fish, nah. No, I'm not gonna put smelling bad because I feel like people will attack me for it. So that aside, she's kind of a wholesome cinnamon bun, so maybe just accidental littering. Yeah, let's just go with that. Obstruction of Justice. The Shogun's version of justice, anyway. That aside, he's too much of a swell guy to really do anything wrong, unless it's for Daddy Ayato. So yeah, loitering, vandalism, disruption of the peace, pretty much any small-time crime imaginable, and maybe the occasional resisting of arrest from an angry bird. Thinking about the Inazuma War kind of made me sad, so we're gonna ignore it. Ooh, identity theft. Yes, what if Miss Hina is a real woman with a real family? She's gonna have a bunch of random people simping for her. Although technically, it's not really Goro's fault. It's kind of more Miko's fault, but still, he's kind of indirectly, unknowingly doing this. Aggravated assault to whoever dares harm her little nephew Chung Yun and her little bro, Aether. Also, has she killed anyone? I'll say probably not, just maybe broken a couple of bones, which is fine, yeah. Pretending to be Harry Potter is apparently a crime in Canada. What the frick? As for Yunjin, maybe unlicensed street performing. Maybe she wants to get some extra practice in and decides to start singing at the local train station, which is against the law, apparently. Harassment to Goro. Stop bullying this wholesome boy, Fox Lady. Also, this is just a theory, but concealment of assets. I feel like this Fox Lady is hiding some of her money, potentially so she doesn't have to pay taxes. Yes, because being rich is expensive. Wait, that's kind of true, isn't it? Bribery. I feel like on more than one occasion, Daddy Ayato may have slid a couple of $100 bills to some of these people to keep quiet. Mafia boss Ayato is back. Torture, bribery, burglary, identity theft, stalking, kidnapping. I love her. Justifiable. Aggravated assault on the Arataki gang. Although she looks like she'd be an expert thief, she's also extremely by the books. So we'll just say the occasional beating the heck out of Ito. Let's go with that. Stalking. Even though you could say it's part of his detective lifestyle, you still need a lot of evidence before you just start following random people around like in the movies. Carrying a snake or pet reptile in public. I just feel like he'd do that. Also, potential drug cultivation. Depending on where you are, you can't grow your own stuff, even if it is for medical purposes. First degree murder. She's been through so much. Can we take a moment to just hug Kale? It was kind of self-defense as well. Wait, I don't really remember. But anyway, she deserves better. All you need to know. Money laundering, potential drug trafficking, and distribution. And also, probably concealment of assets as well. None of these are really proven, but I just kind of feel like Dory's a bit of a wild one. I legit could not think of anything that's not too far out there for this cinnamon bun. So we'll just say having purple garage doors, which is illegal in Ontario. I gotta say, you got good taste in color, Nilu. Abuse of power. Sino is like a courtroom judge who's running around with a katana, singing the Attack on Titan opening. Apparently, she's tortured some people before, so yeah, torture. For the greater good. she'll probably step on you with her cleats, being too much of a good person. But I will say, breach of privacy, although she doesn't like to do it, she still does it from time to time because she's a curious cinnamon bun. Also, if I had mind reading powers, I'd probably do the same. Yeah. Identity theft. I am fully convinced that Layla's alter ego is just straight up a different person, so maybe her other self, Maria Johnson, is secretly looking for a way out. I don't know. I am joking. This is joke. So with that said, maybe loitering? Because she's always wandering around past dark? Yeah. Murder! A lot of it. Maybe someone cuts in front of him at the local Wendy. Nah. He is a new person. So he'd probably just like break their kneecaps without killing them. So Mama Nahida raised her son well. We'll just say aggravated assault. Yes. Trespassing. I can just imagine Farzan wandering into like a sealed off location because it looks interesting. Even though there was like 10 signs that said private property, do not enter. How dare you accuse this child of committing a crime, you sick fuck. Money laundering, and I feel like he'd get away with it too, actually. He's the type who wants to get rich really quick so he can laze around, retire for the rest of his life. Yeah, being a Chad. I'm not gonna say the name of this exact crime, but sneaking children who need help into a city that can actually provide them with education, a good roof over their heads. Yeah, the world is kind of messed up and we need more people like Dea. Everybody clap. I was gonna say owning a firearm, but apparently you don't need a license to have a crossbow, which is interesting. I never knew that. So with that said, I don't really know much about the kid, so we'll just say first degree murder. Nah. But who knows? Maybe Mika has some demons. Kaveh is a good guy, so with that in mind, disruption of the peace. He seems like the type to work until 3 a.m. in his apartment with power tools, constantly disturbing the neighbors. But once they tell him to shut the heck up, he's gonna feel really bad. No. Drug possession. Another character I encourage to move to Canada. Unintentional drug trafficking. The poor box cat never really checks her packages for what substances are getting thrown all over Tevat. Nah, in the real world they do check that out, but I will still leave it at that. Existing.